this is a very short introduction to the Baha'i faith. Baha'i faith is the newest divinely inspired and independent religion in the world. And the faith teaches the oneness of God, oneness of religion, and oneness of humanity. The idea is that if there is one God, and we are all children of the same God, and that He could not have brought conflicting messages and conflicting religions, so then all religions are chapters of the same book. So the same message, essentially, according to the Baha'i belief, has been revealed in the East and in the West, the major prophets being Krishna and Buddha and Zoroaster, and then Abraham and Moses and Jesus and Muhammad. And for this age, according to the Baha'is, the Bab and Baha'u'llah. We call them the twin founders of the Baha'i. Baha'is promote the idea and believe that the foundation of all religions being one, the purpose is to educate the humankind, to bring to them love of God and submission to Him, and bring forward an ever-advancing civilization so that at the time of its maturity, when wars and hostilities have ended, these manifestations, these prophets, will lead us to an age of peace and tranquility on earth as it is in heaven. This is the message that particularly Christians sing and chant on Sundays, expecting that day to come. Baha'is believe that we have to work on it, and we have to work at it to bring that ultimate peace and unity on this earth. The Baha'i faith is widely spread across the globe, with some 200 national spiritual assemblies and some 20,000 or more local spiritual assemblies, that is in every city, where more than 9 Baha'is reside, and some 5 or 6 million adherents across the globe at this time. The affairs of the Baha'is at this, on the global stage, is in the hands of an elected body that we refer to as the Universal House of Justice. The universal seat of the Baha'i faith is in Haifa, Israel. Now, the primary teachings of the Baha'i faith include the independent search for truth. Humanity having reached the age of maturity, we don't need a mullah, a priest, a minister at this time, according to the Baha'is. We have to search for ourselves and find the truth for ourselves. The next teaching is universal and compulsory education, both scientific and moral, so that with education, we will have a more civilized world if it is both scientific education and moral education. And then the whole human race will be uplifted in that manner. The third principle is harmony of science and religion. Baha'is believe that that both science and religion need each other. Religion without science could be steeped in superstitions, in dogmas and prejudices, and science without religion can become heartless and destructive, as we have seen in many ways. So both need each other and should become like wings of the same bird. The fourth principle is spiritual solution to economic problems. This is through different means that should be discussed for hours, and there are volumes and tablets revealed in that connection, so that ultimate equity and justice, economic justice, would appear, and nobody die of hunger, and nobody would have so much wealth that they don't know what to do with it. The fifth principle of Baha'i faith is promoting the adoption of an auxiliary language in all schools, so that eventually all the children of God everywhere can communicate with each other. So this would be another step in bringing love and harmony and unity across the globe. The sixth principle of Baha'i faith is total equality between men and women. In many of the Baha'i writings we see the example given that the world of humanity has 2 wings, like a bird. One wing is man, one wing is the woman. As long as these two are not totally equal, the world will remain in balance, and total peace and tranquility will not be achieved. Seventh principle is the absolute equality among all races and all people of the globe. We know that through ages there have been groups like fascists and Nazis and others who have tried to promote one race against the other, trying to say that one group should be subservient to the other group. Again, Baha'i faith teaches that we have to promote this total equality among all races and all nations until we can achieve this total peace and tranquility on earth. The eighth principle is this idea of upholding the universal peace through a federated form of governing the earth. Again, this is the subject of many hours of discussion. Many tablets have been written on it by the founder of the Baha'i faith and those who came after him, and a lot of elucidation of this subject by our Universalist Justice. Ultimately, the other principle, ninth principle, is fusion of all races, all nations, and all religions, while maintaining diversity. There should come a point where humanity, that is reaching the age of maturity, would understand that all these religions are chapters of the same book. We are the children of the same God, and therefore in that fashion, coexistence and living together and working for peace becomes much more easier than it is now among many people who do not hold this kind of aspiration for the humankind. There are many other principles, but in this introduction we will move on to another segment. Now, Baha'is have built many temples across the globe, particularly one major building called House of Worship in every continent of the globe. For example, this is the temple in Sydney, Australia. There is one in Frankfurt, Germany. There is another one in Wilmette, Illinois. And this is the temple in Wilmette, Illinois. Another temple in Central America, a beautiful temple in Delhi called the Lotus Temple, and then another temple in the process of being built in Chile in South America. All these temples are nine-sided, symbolizing the nine main religions of the globe, and in effect asking people of the earth to come through any door and worship in any way they wish, and come to the same dome, which is that oneness, that idea of oneness of the humanity, and oneness of religion, and oneness of God. So promoting that ideal. Prayer and meditation is considered essential in the Baha'i way of life, as it is in many other religions. Thousands of prayers have been revealed by Baha'u'llah and his eldest son, Abdul Baha. And at the same time, that prayer is so essential, Baha'u'llah tells us that work performed in the spirit of service to serve the humankind is considered as worship. Therefore, as Baha'is do not spend hours upon hours every day praying. They're supposed to work and serve humankind. But then when we wake up, when we go to bed, Baha'u'llah asks us to make sure that we read prayer, so that it brings us back to the reality of humility before God and before our fellow human beings, to serve them. Let me share with you a short prayer from the Baha'i writing. Thy name is my healing, O my God, and remembrance of thee is my remedy. Nearness to thee is my hope, and love for thee is my companion. Thy mercy to me is my healing and my succor in both this world and the world to come. Thou verily art the all-bountiful, the all-knowing, the all-wise. Another prayer from Abdul Baha, the eldest son of Baha'u'llah, the founder of the faith. O God, refresh and gladden my spirit, purify my heart, illumine my powers. I lay all my affairs in thy hand. Thou art my guide and my refuge. I will no longer be sorrowful and grieved. I'll be a happy and joyful being. O God, I will no longer be full of anxiety, nor will I let trouble harass me. I will not dwell on the unpleasant things of life. O God, thou art more friend to me than I am to myself. I dedicate myself to thee, O God. Baha'u'llah, the prophet founder of the Baha'i faith, received his revelation while imprisoned in Siachal. This was a black pit in Tehran, an awful place, a dark, awful place, where he was imprisoned for 4 months. And during that time, a lot of people were called Babis. They were people who were waiting for this Messiah to come, were tortured, and were thousands upon thousands were put to death. Baha'u'llah and his family were released and were allowed to leave the country, go to the present Ottoman Empire, under siege and basically under house arrest. This is the way Baha'u'llah spent the rest of his life, basically from 1852 to 1892 when he passed away. A number of years in actual cell in prison, a number of years under house arrest. During this period of exile and tribulation, he revealed over 100 volumes of writings, of books, of tablets, what we call tablets, which has remained for posterity. It's very interesting that at a time, that is in mid-1800s, people of the world, basically across the globe, particularly among Christians and Muslims, were waiting for the return of the Messiah. You know, Christians are waiting for the return of Jesus in the spirit of the Father. Muslims are waiting for the return of Jesus and for coming of Mahdi, or the Shias were waiting for coming of what they call Qa'im, and the return of the revered Imam Hussein. The Hindus are waiting for reincarnation of Krishna, and Buddhists are waiting for the coming of the fifth Buddha, what they call the fifth Buddha, and Zoroastrians are waiting for the coming of Shah Bahram, and so on. And I guess Jews as well, they're waiting for the coming of the Lord of Hosts. Now Baha'u'llah claims that he is that Messiah. That in fact all religions are waiting for the same Messiah, although it has different names. And that Messiah is supposed to come and bring us teachings that will make possible that ultimate peace and tranquility on earth as it is in heaven, that all the manifestations of God have prophesied. Let me just read a couple passages from the writings of Baha'u'llah. He says, "You're all the fruits and the branches of one tree. Let not a man glory in this, that he loves his country. Let him rather glory in this, that he loves the entire humankind." He also said that he has blotted out whatever was the cause of division and hatred among the humankind. From the scriptures, even from the scriptures, he has blotted out. And instead, he has brought us teachings which are all the cause of love and tranquility and harmony among the children of God on earth. So his ultimate message, his earnest message for the humankind, is independent search for truth. And if we search without prejudice, without superstition, without dogmas, then that ultimate oneness of the humankind will be achieved. So these two principles are the opposite sides of the same thing. Independent search and reaching harmony and unity for the human race. Thank you for your attention.